Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Scrapbook Your Legacy with Carrie. I welcome you and thank you so much for visiting each week and watching these videos. I appreciate it, and I'm just so grateful for all of you who are subscribing. I'm just blown away by the interest in the videos. Today, I am bringing you another fall layout. We're actually going to do Stretch the Sketch, and I'm stretching that sketch into a Noteworthy Days page kit. This is page kit number 9. So these page kits, if you haven't received them, come with instructions like this. This is the kit. So it's like a fast to fab, really, that you can embellish a little more. So this is how they want the finished layout to look. But I am actually going to take a sketch, a single page sketch, stretch it, but use this kit. So here we go. Now, that's not to say if you really like how this is, then use it. I just wanted to change it up and challenge myself to do something a little different. So we'll see how it all turns out. But anyway, so that's page kit number 9, which comes with everything you need. So let me just move those out of the way. But anyway, yes, it comes with the papers and the stickers. So here are the stickers for page kit number 9. Okay, really pretty stickers. Works great with the new fall collection, if you have that. So these will all blend together, so you can just make that even fuller with stickers. All right, so these pages for the kits always come double-sided, right? So here's one that's already a prepared layout. And then the other side is just the birch wood, which, you know, if you wanted to add it to your stash as wood papers, you could do that. Really pretty birch wood. Could be aspen. Could be aspen wood, right? All right, so we're going to be using this side of the paper today, and these are my photos, which are from, believe it or not, I went for a walk. This was on a walk one morning, and the sunlight was beautiful on the fall trees. That's upside down. And so I just was snapping pictures, and I'm so glad I did, because this was November 5th, 4th, 5th, 6th, somewhere in there. And the very next week, the leaves were gone. So got to capture it while you can. All right, so we're going to get going with these. And we are going to do some inking technique today. And I'm going to show you some an alternative. Again, you can use the stickers that come in there and do the banner. I have cut up the papers, so I don't have a banner anymore. But here are the stickers, all right, that go on top of that banner. And they show you in here, all right, so these orange papers here and this brown paper are part of this cutting guide, all right? So one side of the paper is the orange and this brown that has an orange stripe in it. And then the back side of it is this cutting guide. So you get the 2 banners and then mats for 5, can I count this morning? I don't know. 5 photos. All right, so, but we're going to change it up. So this is the sketch that I am using. This is from an older CM Creative Memories 110 scrapbooking ideas and sketches. I do believe, for those of you who might ask, I do believe that this was one of these buy and get promos. So if you bought a certain amount, you got a book, and they went fast. So this was the very first book they released, so they didn't come with measurements. But this is the sketch I'm going to stretch, but I'm going to stretch it like this, and it's going to look a little different. All right, so this is how it's going to be. I'm going to have 4 pieces going along the bottom, and then I'll have 2 pieces on one side, and then I'm going to stretch it into 3 pieces on the other side. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So that is the sketch. And, you know, if you work off of a 12 by 12 piece of paper, then you could assume it's going past the center mark. So this is probably a 7-inch piece of paper right here. and then you probably have a 1/4 inch border, and so this might be 3 to 4. You know, you have to do the math, but anyway, this might be a 3. If this is a 3-inch photo, this might be 3.5 inch white piece of paper here, you know, whatever this is going to represent. It could be any kind of cardstock. Then 1/4 inch, and then whatever this ends up being here. So that's kind of how you have to look at it. You have to think of 12 and then start assuming if you're past, you know, you can draw cross lines on here to help you figure that out. And that's how I've done it when there haven't been measurements. So anyway, we're going to work off of this, except we're changing the orientation and we're using page kit number 9. So we're just going to be all over the place today. All right, so what I did is, let me find because I did a sample. This was a sample I showed in another layout. And then I was playing with the inks, and that's what we're going to do. So if you don't have the Creative Memories inks that came with the fall stencils, the papers that are in the fall pack that are modeled like this, all right, same modeled like that. Cut these papers, and this is the effect you'll get, all right? So you see it's modeled, so you're gonna kind of get the same effect. Now I didn't cut my red, that's still a whole piece of paper, but I had cut the orange and yellow, so I didn't feel bad. But that's what you're gonna get, that same modeled look. So if you don't have the inks, you can accomplish a similar look with that. So we're gonna use the Acorn and leaf border maker cartridge. I know I had it here. Here we go. So this is what it looks like. I do believe it's still available. I did not check. Shame on me. I should have. But that's what we're using today. I wanted to use it and experiment. So what I did is I used all 3 colors of the inks to create kind of ombre coloring, and it may not show up as well in here, but you can see. So I used the chocolate brown on the edges, the tips, and then I used the clay color, and then that fuchsia pink or lilac posy. It doesn't show up as well on the red, but I used the brown and some of the clay to deepen it a little bit. All right, but it does show up well on the orange. So I'm trying to keep some bright parts on the leaves. So that's one that's done. So I'm going to demo on the 3 colors for you. And I learned that, let me put that over there. I learned that when you lay this out, now this is not the Creative Memories one, but they did have one with the inking set. I don't know, but you can use your silicone mat if you have one. If not, I would say maybe try some plastic wrapped around a piece of cardboard, you know, as tight as you can get it so that you have a sleek surface. All right, so I'm going to demo these 3 leaves. I'm going to try to make it go quickly so that you at least can see that. And I'm going to try not to be too much in the, make sure I can see these. And this is hard because last night I was doing it sitting down. I am not sitting down right now. All right, and here are our brushes. So I figured by just doing 3 leaves, and it's always good to have a piece of paper to rub off the brush. I was also playing, I'm just going to show you this, with the new Winter Bliss, and I worked on doing an ombre tree, and then I was rubbing off my brushes on here, but there's a snowflake and some of this unique texture that they have that looks like falling snow. Anyway, I was playing with that, thinking ahead, because, you know, Christmas is coming. So comment below, have you, do you have the inks and have you tried them? I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. Let's see how this works. I'm going to try to make sure that I am in, let's see, this is different here. Stay, please stay. But yeah, comment below if you have, let's try that. All right, hopefully that's close enough, and maybe on a bigger screen it will look better. But anyway, yes, comment below. Do you have the inks? Have you experimented with them? And I'm sorry if the table shakes. Now what I do is I just hold it, and I'm just going to come in off the edge like this, and you can put as little or as much color as you want. Now I'm starting with the clay color to just get some, and I'm trying to keep some of the bright yellow, so I just have my fingers over that. And yes, it's messy, but you know, you just gotta play. So I just want to encourage you to play with your inks. I guess a package arrived. And just have fun experimenting. It's not going to show up, it's going to show up differently on each one. It still shows up. And you're just rubbing the ink. So again, I'm sorry if it's wiggling a lot. I'm just trying to get pressure on there. So you can add as much or as little as you want. But yeah, let me know. If you have the inks, are you enjoying them? Are you experimenting? What kinds of things have you done? Let me know that in the comments below. I'd really like to know. And I'm doing this backwards. I had that bright, but you know what? It'll be fine. Should have paid attention to that. But we'll just change it up a little bit. All right, so we've got some good clay on here now. So I'm gonna dry that one off a little bit, get that gone, and we'll put that up. Be done with that one. And it's just easier to do one color at a time. All right, now we'll come in with this fuchsia color. I call it fuchsia, but they call it lilac posy. I believe that's what it's called. So we're gonna come in with that one. Let me move this back into the screen. We're just gonna get some of that color, and you can bring it off of there. We're gonna just bring that up on here. And again, it is messy. We're playing with ink, but don't be afraid of that. Experiment, find different ways to use these other than the stencils, because then you get more out of it. This isn't going to show up as well on the red, but we're gonna just add it anyway. All right, so there's some of the what I call fuchsia. I'm just trying to, there we go. All right, so let's get that all cleaned up. And hopefully I won't have inky fingerprints on my photos when I go to do this, but you can have wipes on hand to help with that, to help with the cleanup. That's always a good thing to have. All right, now for the chocolate. And the chocolate I just used on kind of the edges here, right down at the base. So I came in, so you're kind of going over the acorn a little bit. And then we do this end to just bring some depth to the leaf. And it will look different with each one. So there we go. Make sure I'm still there where you can see it. I'm sorry if my fingers are all in the way, but I'm trying to protect the other end of the leaf. And I could have used a Post-it note to mask it off, but I wanted it to not be a straight line necessarily. So I just figured I would just do the best I could using my fingers to keep some bright areas on the leaves. Okay, so that's the general idea. It moves fast. And if you want more of the orange, you know, the clay color or the fuchsia, you can do that. So let me just clean this brush off and we'll get going. But that's just a simple inking technique. And also I punched cranberry cardstock, pumpkin cardstock, and canary cardstock. I punched 3, then cut them off and then add them to the hot fudge cardstock so that the acorns would be brown. So that's how I did that. So anyway, all right, we're gonna clean up the ink stuff, the leftover ink, and get going with the layout and finishing that off. All right, I'm gonna have a little bit of, I think the ink on my fingers is dried. All right, fun with ink. So yes, let me know if you have them, if you've used them, and how you are enjoying them. I've just been playing because it's different, and I don't use a lot of ink, but I thought, you know what, it's good to change things up a little bit and experiment. That's half the fun of, some of the fun of scrapbooking, you know, part of embellishing the pages. All right, there we go. All right, so that's how that's going to lay down. So let me bring my pictures in from my walk. So I'm just really documenting a walk that I took in the neighborhood. Now you can cut a full circle. Actually, let me zoom back out now. So let me straighten this out since we're back to, pardon me while I do all this moving. There we go. All right, so we're back out to the full page. So you can see, all right, let me show that to you again. Finish that up. All right, and then I finished it up over here. Actually, I'm going to, now I'll do these over here and keep it in the middle. All right. So where the banner went in the sketch, I am putting the leaves, and I did flip it in the kit. The green is at the top and the red is at the bottom. I flipped it for the size of my photos. All right, so again, let me bring it back into the screen. This is page kit number 9. If you have it, this is the sketch that we're gonna take it to, and I'm turning it like this. Okay, so please feel free to snap pictures. If you're watching this on your phone, feel free to do that so you have comparison. All right, there aren't any measurements other than photo size on this, but they show you the cardstock. All right, so they're very good about that. All right, here we go. And I kind of did my own little sketch, but anyway, I cut this circle piece using the large custom cutting system circle with the red blade inside. All right, so I wanted something big enough for my embellishments to land on. All right, so this is where we're headed. This is going to be over here. And then I did use the orange papers to mat my photos. And what I'm doing is I'm color blocking with some of this. Let me just, it makes it easier to bring it across the center. All right, so this is what we're doing here. And then I'm gonna have this come down over that a little bit. When you get the kits, sometimes they come with, I think when you buy the quarterly pack, it comes with these little extra cardboard, you know, stickers. They're thicker. They're thicker stickers. All right, and then, let me make sure I have this correctly. That's gonna go up there. And then I have this upside down. So I think this was 1, 2, 3. And then the colors were beautiful when I went on this walk. And so I wanted to document it. I was out walking my dog, enjoying the morning air and the colors, the sunshine. So do you like to go for walks? Let me know. Do you enjoy walking in the autumn or different times of year? You know, this was right before we had our cold spurt down here where it was like 19 degrees with the wind chill. It was ridiculous. And I still had to go out and walk the dog. But you do what you have to do. I think I was the only crazy person in the neighborhood who was doing that. Okay, so this is the layout idea. So I'm turning it into a grid layout with doing some color blocking for places to put my embellishments. I don't really need to journal this. This was just a walk that I took. But I loved the colors of the tree. I mean, look at that with the sun, the morning sun shining off of that. I mean, it's just stunning. So I just thought using this acorn leaf border and inking it up was a nice addition. All right, so again, sketch, okay, versus where I'm going. All right. So, all right, we're going to start putting all this stuff down. Now, if you don't have a silicone mat, then parchment paper over cardboard, and it doesn't have to be 12 by 12. It can be 6 by 12 or 6 by 6, whatever's easiest for you. And we are going to get these, pardon me for reaching into the screen. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and get this, and I maybe end up running out of tape runner, and then I have to order more because I have not kept up with it. All right, so I have to be thoughtful of that as well. All right, so we are going to, I want this over the red to make sure that I have, yeah, pay attention to the acorns. Their little caps and stems should be on the top. Now I did red, orange, yellow, red, orange, yellow. You can use all yellow, all orange, the chocolate brown, however you want to do it. But I kind of wanted to play with the fall colors that were in the leaves of these trees. Come on, come on, don't run out yet. Okay. Oh, and it ran out. All right, well, hey, I got enough. I got enough, and that's all that matters. All right, so we're gonna bring that down along here. Now, big question, and this is a controversial issue, is who has decorated for Christmas already? I want to know, because my house is half and half right now. I have Christmas in the foyer. Well, I have a mix of, I have my Christmas tree up on my stairs. I have a double height foyer, so I have a stair landing, and so I just purchased a 9-foot tree to go in there this year. And so let me know if you have started decorating for Christmas already, because as I've gone out walking in my neighborhood, people have their trees up. There's a few turkeys out in the yards, but there's a lot of Santa. But my family room and the kitchen and the dining room and part of the foyer are all still fall. But my stairs, I have the garland on the stairs already because it takes time. And then I have the new tree up there. So I'm taking my time getting things decorated so I don't feel so rushed. All right, so what I'm gonna do is let me see how far up I want those, or do I want them down a little bit? I think I might put them like right there. And then this will go right here. Here we go. All right, it helps to have these little hatch marks, for lack of a better word, to, I guess you could call it block print if you want, but it's helpful to have those to line up photos. All right, so we're just gonna start sticking this down. And I'm gonna cut through, just make sure things are straight here. And I am not gonna worry about covering up part of the leaf. We're gonna break through those lines a little bit. That makes a layout a little more interesting when you break through visible barriers, right? So we wanna break out, you know, like here we have a line, like a barrier. We're breaking out, we're crossing over. But yeah, let me know who has started decorating for Christmas. Do you know, I think some people, when they have Thanksgiving, depending on what the families are doing, probably use Thanksgiving as Christmas as well, if you're not going to see your family members at another time. So let me know, is that something that you all do, you know, as our kids grow and go off and get married and have other family to do stuff with. You know, there's different expectations. You see them at different times. And so I do wonder if a lot of people use Thanksgiving also as their Christmas. So let me know if that's something that you do. It's interesting. I just went to, you know, because my boys have been starting to leave the house, and so it's a little different, and sometimes there's different expectations. And I just went to a class at my church on how to navigate the holidays with grace. And so it was a good reminder, because as our kids grow, they start to have their own lives, especially once they get married. And then, you know, not like giving them the grace to go and, you know, coming up with new traditions and different ways of doing things, which is hard. I am someone who doesn't like change, and I like traditions, but then I have to remember that I'm not the only one. And so, yeah, let me know, you know, if you struggle with that, you know, you like things the same, excuse me. You know, it's hard when you have change, and especially this time of year, right? With the holidays and the expectations that we have, but, you know, we want to enjoy them, and, you know, and see family and friends, and it can get complicated. But yeah, let me know. And do you like turkey, or do you do something else? I have a friend who does ham. We do turkey, and for a number of years, my husband tried smoking it, frying it. Oh my word. I was like, what is hanging from my phone? It's I don't know where it went. It was a little spider. I don't know where he came from. But anyway, my phone does not sit around collecting dust. I'll just say that. That's all I'm going to say. I've been on it way too much lately. All right, so back to the walk in the neighborhood. So this was a beautiful walk, and I enjoy walking. I walk a lot. One, because I have a dog, so that's a good thing, because she gets me out walking. She's a lab, and she needs exercise, and I do run her in the yard. And she's not a high energy girl, but she's still young. She's 1.5, and so she needs to get her boogies out. Now, it's funny. Yesterday, I walked her. Now, of course, there's no leaves on the trees except for our oaks, and they're quickly going away. They're not as pretty as the maples. But anyway, I took her out yesterday. Of course, if you live in the South, you know that yesterday was about 80 degrees. And I think I took her out in the morning, took her out at lunchtime, which was a little hot for her. And so I went to walk her in the evening before dinner, and she did not want anything to do with going for another walk. I had to drag her down to the stop sign, and then she kept sitting down. And I made her listen, because she has to listen, but then we just turned around and came home because she really didn't want to go. All right, so I'm going to put this under this photo a little bit as a landing spot for our embellishments, and then these are going to be landing spots for embellishments. Now, one of these could become a journal square. You could do that. You could also put a photo up, like this center one here, or even over here. You could use, it might be easier with a single, foam tape, right? And put a journal box behind, that's a pull-up journal box. So there's a number of different things you can do. I'm not journaling this. I have a picture of my feet with the dog, so that's to signal that I've been on a walk. Whether or not somebody understands that, but that's the idea. So anyway, that is what we're doing here. All right, so we have this down in place of what was the banner. We have flipped it, and now I am going to start embellishing it. And I did use, so this would have been the banner, this paper here. So this paper is, you can see the stripe in there. It's an orange stripe, but I decided to color block with it. All right, now we'll bring in our stickers, and here they are. All right, and then if you have these, you can also use these as well. But I will use these, the stickers themselves. So we are going to bring this over here. And I could do it straight, but I think this I'm actually going to bring it over onto the photo a little bit. I'm going to put it down partially because I do want to put some leaves up behind it. All right, so we are going to come out here this way with the leaf off of our squarey bit here. And then, actually, I might actually do that on a foam square if you have them. And if you don't have a foam square, don't worry about it. Just put the sticker down on the page. Oh, did I put both of them back? Oh my gosh. Oh no, it's on my finger. Oh my word. Sometimes I crack myself up. But anyway, here we go. We'll put one behind and one in front. So we're breaking it up a little bit. All right. And then we've got some acorns. So I might actually put an acorn over here with those leaves. And that's tiny, so it's probably hard to see, but there we go. We've got that one done. We can always add more to it, but we're going to do that for right now. And, you know, don't feel like, you know, you hear a lot about a triangle of embellishments to draw your eye through the page, right? And that's fine if you want to do that. There's other ways to draw an eye through the page, right? Like, yes, we're going to have our embellishments through here, but I'm not going up here necessarily. You have this border maker cartridge that draws your eye across the page, and then you have your photos. These photos are bright and colorful, so my eye is naturally going to go there. So don't feel like you have to have these. Embellish your page how it pleases you, what makes you happy. Some people like a lot on their page, some people don't. So just do what makes you happy. And you know, we always struggle with what we want, how we want it to look. All right, so I'm going to do this here, and I want to make sure I'm remembering how I was going to do this in the first place. All right, so we'll do a pumpkin there. Even though there are no pumpkins out here, it's fall, and fall means squash and pumpkins. Pumpkins are squash. I'm rambling. But anyway, yes, let me know. I just want to tell everyone, as I'm talking about these layouts, thank you so much. The number of views on last week's video with the squares just has blown me away. I never expected that, but I'm so happy that I'm going to do the wheel over here. I'm just so happy that you are finding these enjoyable and inspiring. That means the world to me. I'm grateful for that. We're going to hide some of this over in here. All right, we'll put these up, put these little apples up on foam squares. And I should have thought that one through a little bit more, because I could do a wordy bit somewhere. So let's see how we want to do this. I'm just putting these foam squares on the back here, and I'm just going to get this down in here. I don't want the wheel to look like it's floating, but it's probably going to look a little bit like it's floating. So let's see, we have Perfect Autumn Day, My Happy Season. So I will bring that over in here, My Happy Season. Let's see, how do I want to do this? We could do it this way. Do I want that there? I want it up in here, just as another title. Could do it there. Don't overthink it, Carrie. Just do it. It is my happy season. I do love walking out in all of this. Let's do this. Let's connect this. Let's see if we can. Sometimes once you've laid something out. Okay, we're gonna just cross right over and do that and draw that way. All right, and then let's put a few more acorns down. All right, we'll get these down in here. And if you prefer sunflowers, you can also use the sunflowers for sure. All right, they have some lovely sunflowers. I'm not using those, but I'll save those for something else. Maybe I'll add them to a Thanksgiving layout. There's also some leaves here. Now, I maybe could add these over in here, up and behind, but I think it's just gonna get to be a lot. So we're gonna save those for something else. I could use them with this, you know, this little flower bit here. I could put the leaves behind that. All right, so there we go. There is the layout. Okay, so again, we took this, and that's upside down. We took the Noteworthy page kit number 9. All right, we're using the papers, but using them differently. And then we brought in this sketch and turned it and stretched it. Okay, so do you see how, all right, here's the sketch, and then we stretched it. Actually, we would have stretched it this way. Okay, so that is what we did. All right, stretching the sketch. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this. Please comment below. Again, let me know how you're enjoying the inking, if you have it. Again, use those modeled papers that I showed you, and then embellish however it pleases you to embellish your papers. Enjoy that process. All right, well, thank you again for watching. Let me bring this up here so you can see these embellishment clusters, all right, and how it's on the circle. All right, here's the leaf. You can see it better with the yellow. Here's that embellishment cluster, all right, and I raised that pumpkin up on foam squares, all right, and then on the other side, here's that cluster, all right, but use them how you want, all right, make it your own. But anyway, thank you for watching. I'm planning to load a video next Wednesday before Thanksgiving. That is my hope, is that I can get it up before Thanksgiving, because then I've got, my kids will be in town. So that is the plan. I am looking towards using the gingerbread kit. So stay tuned, because I have no clue yet what I'm doing with that, and that's next week. All right, well, thank you so much for watching. Again, I am humbled by the response to last week's video and how the views are going up on my other videos. So thank you so much. I have my links in the description below to Facebook, where I will cross-post everything, including photos of the finished layout, close-ups and stuff. So it's Scrapbook Your Legacy with Carrie over on Facebook as well. And then I'll have my CM link. So if you don't have an advisor, I would love to be your advisor. But if not, I'm just so grateful for you coming and watching and supporting me and being inspired. That's all I want to do. I want to inspire you to finish your layouts, use your papers and embellishments differently. All right, thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.